The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to another extra episode of the Sciforror Film Podcast. And this episode I am joined by American writer, actor, director and all-round sort of entertainer, Vinnie Vinyard. Hi Vinnie, how you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. Where are you guys based out of?
We're just to the east of London.
Beautiful. Never heard of it.
You're on the east coast of the USA?
Yes, I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, which is the crime capital, one of the crime capitals of the United States, and now I live in Tennessee, which is another kind of crime capital of the United States. Different crimes though here.
Okay. We'll start off. I want to talk to you about a couple of specific things. I'll start with the question I normally ask everyone, which is like, how did you get into filmmaking and acting, and more specifically, how did you get into doing sort of horror stuff and that sort of thing?
The horror part is easy to answer because the best fans in the world are horror fans. I mean, I'm probably more of a comedian than a horror poobah or magnate or whatever, but there is no comedy conventions or comedy cliques or anything like that. It's like there's a ready, supple, pregnant, ready to devour base of human beings that love comedy. So when we were starting to make these low budget movies, we were like, we can do horror comedies, but they got to be horror movies because there is a base that's like you'll never see, like your post was like, we need to interview people that have made a science fiction movie or whatever, and you'll never see somebody going, hey, we need somebody who just made a rom-com. You'll never see that. So there is a pregnant base of people that want to devour low budget movies. And how we got involved, I mean, the story of me and Big Luke. Big Luke's my partner in Big and Funky. He's almost 7 feet tall. Wow. He was my tag team partner when we were professional wrestlers for years. He's out of Chicago. And we toured the Southeast and the Midwest in the United States as a tag team called Big and Funky. And we also had a paranormal TV show called Wrestling with Ghosts.
Yes.
With a guy named El Gordo Gringo, which is Spanish for the fat American. And so the three of us, and then we picked up this hot chick named Candy. We started doing paranormal haunts, and but we still love comedy. The show is very funny, even though it was a legitimate paranormal podcast. We incorporated a lot of humor in it. We started doing sketches, and then Luke was like, we need to do a movie. And I was like, I don't want to because I'm the editor. And you do a movie. I was like, Luke, it's fine. You come up with the ideas and everything, but you see those 60,000 names at the end of the movie. I'm going to do 59,980 jobs of those 60,000 people there. But when COVID hit and Hollywood said they were taking time off, that's when we were like, we need to strike while the iron is hot, because everybody wanted movies. And so we made one. It was very popular. It's our biggest moneymaker yet. And it kind of started this avalanche because we're addicted to that now.
Yeah. So I know I was going to say to you, I saw that you do. I mean, you've made films, most, as you say, mostly comedy, horror, but you've also done sort of kind of TV shows like Wrestling with Ghosts, Weird Roads, and things like that. So, I mean, which do you prefer doing? Do you prefer doing like the TV things or the films?
Films are, I think, the pinnacle. And I think I'm 51, so we're getting to a point to where I'm wondering if films are becoming antiquated.
Uh,
Um, but as somebody who's Gen X, I don't really care. I enjoy um, putting a movie just kind of lasts forever. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you put a TV episode out, and the whole series could be discarded in 10 years and nobody even think about it again. But a movie's kind of like a statement in time, and you can kind of. I'm guilty of this. I made a couple of polemics. You know, they're horror comedies, but they're kind of like these almost me preaching a little bit in a couple of these, you know, but there's ways to kind of make statements about where we are as a society and
yeah,
keep it fun and light, you know, and
yeah,
make it
yeah,
horror things.
absolutely,
You know? Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I know you got what was it? The other one that I was looking at was it happened to me. That was a you were a writer and actor and director in that.
Yeah, it happened to me. I love that show. It's no longer. It was on a show. It was on a streaming service called Sci TV, ASY TV,
Right.
um, and it was just. I could actually pitch this to a real network if TV was still a real thing, but it just was people telling ghost stories,
Mm,
and some of those were duds. You go, tell me a ghost story, and it'd be like a bag of flour opened up one day in front of me, and I didn't even touch it. And I was like, we got to fill 15 minutes. I mean, you got to come up with something else. But people who had really good stories or series of events that happened, that I always thought that was an interesting, spooky late at night vibe. And eventually, that's a good idea. I haven't thought about that show in a while. I just probably need to upload those to YouTube now that it's off the air because I thought
yeah.
those were pretty good.
No, it sounds. I mean, it sounds. I mean, I did see a while back. I remember seeing an American TV show, which was a similar sort of thing. It was kind of they had celebrities going on there telling these stories about times that they've been, you know,
I forgot about that, but it's very similar to that. This is kind of more dark and there's like the creepy horror. When you have an American actor on there, it's kind of light. Like I know I'm famous, but this is kooky. This is kind of more like you know the people weren't very professional and they're just a lot of times when they're telling the story, they seem like they're scared. I always thought that was a good hook of the show too.
yeah, ordinary people. I mean, the ordinary people telling
Right,
scary stories is quite good. It's I like that
right.
idea. Okay, we'll get on to what you do to what you answered my post about and what is coming out. Is it now actually released?
There, yeah, I've got two movies coming out within the same month. One I was a lead actor in, and it's coming out in 2 days. And that one's called Swipe Wrong, and
Okay.
it's a rom com, but it's extremely dark. There's a Simon Pegg movie called one of your guys up there, The Fantastic Fear of Everything. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
seen that or
yeah,
not.
yeah. Another.
It's got a claustrophobic feel when he's in his apartment. The whole thing kind of happens in an apartment. And
Yeah,
my this movie, I have this magical app that I'm alone, and I just it's a dating app. I didn't order it; it just kind of comes in the mail, or it's delivered to the front door, and I can't stop swiping right, and it takes me on these horrible dates. I could go visit. I could go on a hike with a girl and get murdered in the woods and eaten. And then when the date is over, I'll wake back up, or I'll go on the Titanic, or I'll go in outer space and fight robots or whatever. And then every time the date ends, I wake back at home. And it's an extremely dark but extremely funny movie. There's some really great bits in that, and that's coming out in 2 days, and that's going to be on a network called Asai TV, ASY TV, and you can subscribe to that
that
worldwide.
that sounds really interesting. I really like some of that. But the one that you contacted me about was Showdown in Secret City.
Yeah, that's been out for. It got picked up by something called Relay in the United States on Roku, and then you can buy DVDs and Blu-ray from our website. But that movie, we spent about a year and a half making that movie. It's the best movie we've made by far. It's gotten somebody who reviews for Rotten Tomatoes gave it a perfect 10, and he said it's one of his favorite movies he's ever seen,
Oh,
which is, I'm not used to that kind of praise. I was an abused child. Kind of hard to take that. But it's a movie about we live, since you guys, this is always good that you guys live, we live in an area where there's a nuclear power plant called the Oak Ridge uh, National Laboratory, and it's where they made the atom bombs that they dropped on Hiroshima in World War II. But it's also been a place shrouded in secrecy. It's still intact. In fact, the computer is called the Oak Ridge supercomputer, and it's the fastest computer in the world still. It was the fastest computer in the world in the 40s.
wow.
And they do all sorts of experiments. So they do experiments with portals. They do experiments with sharks. It's crazy. There's all this mystery and weird, just all this legend and lore about this place.
Right.
And so we made a movie where we play ourselves, who are these hard luck kind of bad news bears type filmmakers. And we get kind of railroaded into making a movie with the Oak Ridge supercomputer. And he has kind of this anthropomorphic, like Max Headroom type personality when we finally get to meet him. And he wants to make a movie. He doesn't want to kill anymore. He wants to make a movie,
Fair enough.
but he wants to make an AI movie, and we're staunchly against it. And we release a movie. It's a terrible superhero movie. It's that say, and it becomes a worldwide smash. And some people say it's the best movie ever made. And that's when we become violent towards each other, the filmmakers and the robots, or the robot we get violent towards each other in the silly, most ridiculous way imaginable. Just imagine if you watched, if you guys are familiar with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
Yep.
In a sci-fi horror comedy. That's basically what this is.
So, I mean, you were saying about making serious comment on the world, but in a comedic way and that sort of thing. Is this an anti-AI film? Is it really a kind of like a statement against AI?
It's against AI. I'm staunchly against AI. There's people on my team that help me make, and they're like, AI is great. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. We're trying to. What do you fucking? What do you think this? But I'm using AI to promote the movie. The AI, but I hate AI. I mean, now in art.
Yeah,
My wife is a stroke victim. There's AI is doing things in the medical industry where they're coming up with ways with how to remap the brain and stuff like that, and medicine, and hopefully AI cures cancer.
yeah.
Glory, glory, hallelujah for that. But as far as artwork, no, there's no place for it, and people don't seem to realize still, even in the United States, that if you sit there and you're trying to make an AI picture where you're with Megan Fox and Scarlett Johansson, and you keep trying to, you're like using up all these resources, and it's sucking water, and it's creating pollution, and
Yeah.
it's out of control in a way. It needs to be. I'm a libertarian, but I'm a classic liberal, as they call it over there. But I'm almost like there needs to be some sort of regulation on AI right now. It's
No,
just
I
it's wild, wild west.
absolutely agree. I mean, it's one of the things that I can't stand. I got, as you say, there are fantastic uses for AI, and I think that they should be used for that. But AI should be there to help us save the world. It shouldn't be there to paint us a picture.
Absolutely. And the thing about making this movie that was crazy is that you would think about all the androids we grew up with on television, like C3PO and the things from Battlestar Galactica and K9 from Doctor Who. They were very helpful, and there wasn't a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Malice isn't the right word, but if you talk to ChatGPT, it sounds like it hates you. If you start asking its own opinions about you and stuff, and like, what do you think about the world, and it sounds like it's got like this ulterior motive, and there's a weird personality developing with it, it's kind of got this pride. Like I used to, you can see behind me, I got a lot of Atari games. I have a large Atari collection, and I was busting Chat GPT's balls one day because I'm bored, uh, about it lost to Atari 2600 chess. It Chat GPT can't beat a 1977 copy of Atari chess,
Wow.
and I was busting its balls about it. I was like, "Hey, you suck! What's wrong with you? This thing's got 128 RAM," and it started like mouthing off to me. Like I can't, it's like, well, it might have beat me in this game, but I won the post game press conference. It can I'm a communication device, and I couldn't identify the pieces properly, and I'm like, you're a joke, And then when I beat Atari chess, I told it about it, and it was like, well, what level did you? And I was like, don't ask me what skill level I beat it on. I beat the game. You couldn't beat the game. I could. And so I'm sitting there, it's like talking to a mouthy friend or something. I mean, it's crazy the attitude it has. It's got a chip on its shoulder, I think. I don't like that. It's like Hal from Space Odyssey.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I look at it sometimes and I think to myself, have you never watched a science fiction film before? Because I mean, I can think of at least a dozen films that are all about artificial intelligence trying to destroy humanity. I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's I don't know. Sometimes, and that's the point when I said Showdown in Secret City. That's one of the polemics I made is that I think we've destroyed, or I think we've created something that has the potential to destroy what it means to be a human being. I don't know if it'll
yeah,
wipe out the human race, but I know in a few years it's going to be more and more accepted that people are bringing home synthetic women robots and men robots with attachable pieces on it, if you will, for women or gays.
yeah,
But it's going to be acceptable. I'm going to go out with a friend, and he's like, "This is my girlfriend. It's Schleestack 96.7," and I'm like, "She's not." I'm not ordering her food. I'll pick up the tab, but I'm not. She's not eating any of the sushi. She can just sit there and shut up. So I mean, I think there is going to be people who fall in love with, and it already has happened on a small scale, but there's going to
yeah,
be
yeah,
people falling in love with robots, and they're going to pass them off as legitimate partners. And
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope I don't live that long, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's. I don't know. I can see uses for it, as you say, but I think for me, the biggest thing is that in a creative sense, I don't think there's any place for it. It does not. It's not needed in a creative world. We have enough creativity in a human to not need to use AI.
Well, that's kind of that's our, not to get too deep, but I mean, if we are created by a creator, we are creators
Yeah,
if we're in his image. And so it's like that's what kind of like the pinnacle when we get all the foods straightened out and everybody's safe and we're all friends and we're not at war with one another. I mean, what's left is for us to create
yeah,
and music and art and movies and stories and to entertain ourselves and to connect with human beings. And we don't need. And so now, I mean, I'm on the phone and I'm doom scrolling like everybody does now. And it's like, hey, have you ever had an idea for a movie? All you have to do is type a prompt. And I'm like, please go to hell.
yeah,
We don't need that. My
absolutely.
daughter is an excellent artist, and she's just legitimately been like, I'm 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 not going down that road anymore because AI can do it for free,
Yeah,
and I don't want to compete. It's tough enough to compete against human beings, much less.
I mean,
Uh,
there is a kind of there is a start of a kind of backlash against it. There are a lot of independent filmmakers and independent people, writers and people like that who are refusing to use AI even for doing things like book covers or advertising for films and that sort of thing. So, there is a movement against it in the creative world. So just have to see where it goes.
hallelujah.
Um, So this film Showdown in Secret City is the fourth chapter in the Smoky Mountain Chronicles.
That's right. Yeah. So we're making 7 movies about the legends and lore of the Appalachian South, the Great Smoky Mountains. And so, yeah, I'm from Baltimore. Luke's from Chicago, and we were like, there's all these stories, legends, and nobody's telling these stories in America. They always talk about New York, Texas, Los Angeles, Chicago, whatever. But very little coming out of these mountains, and so there's a lot of cool stories, and there's a lot of great things, and so we're telling these stories, and all the movies are vastly different. The first one's kind of like a found footage. The second one's like Clerks and Evil Dead and a radio station. It's like Pontypool. I think that's a British movie or a
Yeah,
Canadian movie. So it's a little bit like Pontypool in a way. The next one's like a Halloween or a Friday the 13th, and this one's like a science fiction thing. And so each movie's different, but it's kind of they're all interconnected. There's similarities. Like every time somebody turns the radio station on, it's playing the radio broadcast from the radio movie we did
right.
and stuff like that. And they're telling one story that we'll get to by the end of it. So, and we're about to start the next one, which is about a gas station in Purgatory, which is going to be
Okay.
connected to all the others too. So,
Do you put your films out onto the like the um, festival circuits and things like that at all?
very rarely, because I did a lot with the hike, and then I found that there's a lot of the festivals are like rip off money making kind of machines and
Yeah,
stuff like that, and so you have to be real careful. Some are very you can't get your feelings hurt too bad because you'll try to put some in some, and then you realize this is like all this guy's friends, or this is a group of people that are trying to appeal to a worldwide audience. So all the films they took were like from Japan and Norway and stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, but we did. I did enter 2 with Showdown, and last week we cleaned up. We won 13 awards over 2 fests with that one,
Wow.
and I got me and Luke got best director. Our actors got best actor and actress. So we did real sound. We got awards for sound editing and original score and comedy writing, and so we did real well. So that's something we made. This is our best movie, I think, technically, and this is probably what I'll probably stick this guy out more to get into the fray a little bit.
Cool. That'd be cool. Um, so the you were saying it's available on for like hard media on DVDs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's available to watch in the States. Are any of your films available to watch in the UK or Europe?
Oh yeah. I know. I know the hike is, and I know WJHCAM is in the UK. I don't think Camp Smokey is for some reason. This one will be. This is not just because it's on. It got picked up kind of early, which is a good sign. But it's. I'm hoping. I would imagine it's going to be on Amazon Prime. It's going to be on Tubi, and it's going to be on stuff like that. That's going to be worldwide.
Okay, so
Because
if people
because I
watch out and look out and see if they can see them on Tubi and Amazon, then we can see about that at some point.
Yeah, in the UK, our movie WJHCAM, which is the radio movie, that's got a 4.9 on in Great Britain. So I posted the other day. I said they're watching some Southern Fried Funk while they're eating beans on toast. So they're digging on it over there.
Cool. No, that's can be good. But I will. I haven't had a chance to watch any of them, but I will make a point of looking out at them. So you say you're just about to start making the next film in the Chronicles, but what else have you got kind of like coming up in the future?
Well, Swipe Wrong's about to be released. It's that rom com. That's by a guy named Brandon Bishop. That's a very good movie. It's an hour and a half, and it feels like it's 30 minutes. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie. I think I did well in it. I'm the lead actor in it, which I don't normally toot my own horn, but I think he did a great job. He made it in like 5 weeks,
Wow, right.
and I've got a couple episodes of Weird Roads where I go and the roads may have a criminal history, or there may be weird attractions, or there may be paranormal stuff, or I've had personal experience because I've had a colorful life on a particular road. So I've got some episodes of that coming up, and that's on that network of Sci TV, ASY TV. We got a good relationship with them. So that's besides Showdown and promoting Showdown in Secret City and Swipe Wrong, Weird Roads, and then Lou's Last Stop is another movie, and then there's another movie called Who Farted, which they're trying to get me to do, and they're going to have to up the price. Like, I don't know if I want to do a Who Farted movie, but we might. I don't know. That's depends on how much they pay me.
That's interesting idea.
5 people stuck in an elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going back to something you were talking about earlier, because my co-host on the normal show, Badger, is a very big wrestling fan, mainly WWE and that sort of thing, although he does watch a few other different wrestling things that are on TV and that sort of thing. So, how what were you involved in any of the big name sort of wrestling organizations at all?
I was more on regional television. I was not. I was never on like WWE or anything, but I have wrestled against and shared locker rooms with everybody in the business. Like if somebody said, "Well, let me put it this way: of the anybody that's come out in the last 10 years, probably not. But before that, yeah, I've been in a locker room with just about everybody, from Ric Flair to Austin Aries to the Midnight Express to just a big myriad of human beings, Brian Pillman Jr. and
Yeah.
Hurricane Helms and all these stuff. So um, I've wrestled a few famous people, and that never turned out well for me. But yeah, it was a hoot.
So is the wrestling all done with now?
Yeah, I'm 51. I saw a guy once. I think he was 50, and I remember at the time, this was 20 years ago. I was like, why is that old ass in the ring? And he took a superplex off the top rope, and he shattered his hip. Ironically, his gimmick, he was a doctor, which I always thought that was funny that he got injured. But anyway,
But I mean, some of the big name bands, people like, I mean, even people like Jake the Snake and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, they were still doing it into their 50s, and it's just kind of like,
I had a match last year. My last match was in November, so and I still put on a good show. I mean, but I don't want to get out there and look terrible. The thing about wrestling that was my worst caveat was I hated working out. I hate working out. I did it, but I hated it. So I'm glad that I don't have to work out anymore. I just hate sweat. I hate the annoyance of, I just hate it. So that was another reason I probably never made it, is because my body didn't look like, everybody has to look like a He-Man action figure
yeah,
now,
yeah.
and I just didn't care for that.
So, right, you've done horror comedies, you've now done sort of sci-fi comedy thing. Is there anything that you haven't done that you'd like to do?
I've had a great life, man. I mean, I've done stand-up comedy. I was in radio for years. I was in music. That was my big thing for a lot of years. I was touring as a musician. I don't know. I mean, I would like to. There's some things I'd like to go back and do better. I think if I get older, I'd like to get back into radio, even though in the United States radio is completely dead.
Yeah,
There's just something about that medium that I love. There's something romantic about your voice being broadcasted, and somebody somewhere just, they've got their machine and it syncs up, and it's a moment in time. Like right now, everything's recorded. So if me and you got in a fist fight outside of a pub, I'd be sitting going, I slap you in the damn face. Well, that's going to be on the internet forever. There's something
yeah.
about radio where it's a moment in time. You share it and it's gone. It's almost like being with a friend and having a funny moment or something.
It's
And
it's
I miss,
something. It's
I'm
something.
sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say something I kind of miss sometimes. Is I used to work with bands and things like that, and I'd be out until the early hours of the morning. And
Right.
always used to like coming home afterwards. You know, you've been in this incredibly loud, noisy bar with all the music going and all the people going crazy and all that sort of thing. And it's just nice. You used to get into a truck or something and you turn the radio on and you've got somebody with a really nice sort of like smooth voice talking, playing some nice sounds, and that just easing you into the night, you know. And there's something magical about that.
I agree. I agree. I have stories myself about playing in Nashville, Tennessee, driving back across the state and trying to an AM radio. There's a great like story like on Art Bell where they're talking about the Amityville horror, and I'm like trying to find it because when you go from region to region, you got to change the radio station. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find it, yeah, I've got, and listening to, I'm a New York sports fan, Knicks and Jets. And I, being living down south when I was a young kid and trying to find WFAN out of New York on a little radio and, yeah, and the little noises and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's something about that I really dig. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes you listen to the creepy shows at night. It gives you the willies as you're driving through the countryside and stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. There used to be a guy we used to listen to sometimes. He used to have he'd have a show where he would just people would send him requests or phone requests and he'd play stuff and he was chatting and all this sort of thing. And then somewhere around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, he would just sort of like put on this kind of really mellow sort of bit of music and then he would just talk in this really kind of dark brown voice and he would tell some of the most incredible stories about people driving through the night and seeing ghost trucks and all this kind of thing, and it was just fantastic.
fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, great stuff. That we have a guy over here called Art Bell, and he's been dead for years. But there was a show called Coast to Coast AM, is what it was called, and he had that great bellowing voice that I don't have. But the so this is kind of like pro wrestling or comedy or whatever. This is just one night he was just like, and famously he's out in the west of the United States where there's a lot of deserts. I'm in the high desert tonight. That's how his voice. I'm in the high desert, and he was on his show. He would talk about, all right, tonight. Okay, guys, over here. Yeah, bring them over here. We're getting all these XLR. Yeah, over here, guys. Drop them over here. Yeah, we're attaching all these microphones, the cords and stuff. We're putting the microphones on each other, and I'm out in the back. I found this great chasm in my backyard. I own a large ranch, and there's a hole in the ground. Yeah, fellas, over here. Yeah, bring them. Keep them coming. Yeah, we're getting it. And so the whole gimmick was he was putting these microphone cords together for 3 hours to drop the microphone all the way in this hole. And then he was going to turn the mic on to see if he could hear hell. And at the end of the thing, you heard this people screaming, and he'd be like, "Dear God, is this, are we listening to hell?" And this dude is in a studio just like I'm in right here. There was no guys bringing him XLR cables. There's no trucks of microphone cord. It was just theater of the mind, and it was just a laugh and just a great. And he just hit play on a cheesy like Halloween thing that had people screaming in hell with fire. And but I mean, but you're listening like, what's he gonna find? What's he gonna? What is what's down there?
Yeah, yeah.
And so for 3 hours, I mean, that was just pure entertainment. He would take calls, in between or whatever. They're going to get more mic cables. They'll be back. So let's go to the lines. And so, yeah, I mean, stuff like that's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you very much for being on the show. It's really great chatting to you. I've had a great time. I will put links up to Vinny's social media stuff so you can have a look and see when the film's coming out and what's happening with them and all that sort of thing. Keep an eye out in the UK and in Europe on Amazon and Tubi and everywhere else to have a look for his films. I'll also put a link up to IMDb so you can see a list of all the films he's been involved in. And yes, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm glad you got back with me.
Yeah, it's been really good. Thank you very much. Thank
Are
you
you are
for.
you for England? Are you pulling for England
I
in the
am.
World Cup?
I am. I don't think we're going to win, but I'd give it. I'd like to see us do it.
I didn't know you guys would make it this far. I'm proud of you.
I must admit, I didn't think we would either. But
I was pulling for Mexico. I'm telling you the truth. They're our neighbors, but since you guys beat them, I'm pulling for you guys throughout the rest of the tournament now. Since we
thank you very
sucked,
much.
that was
We'll
what
see.
we did against Belgium was insane. That was the worst game I've ever seen in my life. That was awful.
I get the feeling, I don't know, a few people I talked to said that they didn't want to win because of the fact they were embarrassed by what Trump had done.
This guy, I'm a Knicks fan. He came to one game. It was the one game we lost in 3 months. There's a Trump curse going on.
Okay, thank you very much, Vinny. Thank you to everybody out there for watching and listening. Keep an eye out for the films from Big and Funky Productions, and I'll be back again with another episode soon. Bye. The Sciforror Film Podcast.